What's up, guys? Dan from DC Motorsports. I got another quick video for you. Today we're going to be doing an install of Quadstar's new billet aluminum fuel return line kit. We got this from Quadstar. It's not yet on the website, but it will be very shortly as he's working through it. So we're going to go over installing this step by step. It's a very simple system and it saves you a lot of headache down the road. All right, your kit's going to include, you do have this billet aluminum block that John is making. It's nicely engraved, as you can see. It's got all the fittings pre-installed. It also comes with some 1/4-inch rubber hose, some hose clamps for that. Comes with 5/16 rubber hose, and it comes with the injector line hose. Now, as you all know, if you've been following along, the Dually already has the upgraded injector line hoses, but I'll go over that with you. And also included in this kit that I don't have in the video right now are the fuel return line caps for the injectors. As you all know from the factory, the back two injectors get those rubber caps on one of the injector return little nipples sticking out. Basically what this kit does is this is going to take your whole fuel return line system, as you'd say, and turns it backwards. So this little block is going to sit towards the back of the motor, and instead of having all of your fuel return lines from your injectors daisy chain forward, you're going to have the caps at the frontmost injectors, and they're going to daisy chain with that upgraded hose. They're going to daisy chain to the back. And I'll be going over that in the install video. So follow along. All right, guys, this is the victim. I'm going to start off by getting my intake out of the way. Just unclamp it there. Take out my catch can. Your intake setup may be a little bit different. Obviously, this is a Super 60, and this is my 4-inch intake setup. So we're going to get this out of the way. Obviously, you'd have to unbolt your factory intake or cold air intake. Some of you use the S&B. You're going to take out your air box, take out your tube. I know the 96 or 97 and up have that little plastic thingy that sits here. Pop that out so we can make some room, because we got to get underneath here to get to that forward injector. Over here, there's really not much you really need to move. You got plenty of room to work with it. Pretty much what that aluminum block and rubber lines do, if you can see down here, you have this metal hose that goes from here, runs up here, runs down here, and that's actually what your injection pump connects to there and returns fuel. So we're going to work on getting all this stuff out of the way so I can make you guys a good video. All right, now that we got everything apart up here, got plenty of room to work. Next step, you're going to look down here, and now some of your trucks might be a little different. I'm not sure how the routing is done. This is a 94, but all the way down here, you're going to take this nut off. On my truck, and that's a 15 millimeter, and that it goes, what that is holding down is the return line. So you're going to take that one off, and mine's only held down by that one side. Happens to be a ground on it. That's just where I ended up sticking it. To make your life a little easier, you could take off the upper intake manifold. A stock intake manifold actually might be in the way, so you might actually have to pull your stock intake manifold off the upper plenum to give yourself a little more access. Move that ground out of the way. And as you can see here, gonna take a little wiggling to get it out of there. I kind of need two hands, but you're gonna take that out. You're gonna disconnect this line from the injection pump. And then on this side, you'll see where you're seeing there's the injector. And this line goes up to here. So we're gonna take that off. Mine came off the injector. That's all right. You're gonna do the same on the other side. Move this radiator hose out of the way. We come over here, and as you can see, mine is held on by a, I believe, 11 millimeter nut on the valve cover. So I'm gonna pop that off and snake that out of here. If anybody doesn't, if you want to save it, you might have to unbolt a couple more brackets and stuff to get it out in one piece. Me personally, it's being thrown out, so I'm just gonna bend it and twist it until it comes out. All right, now that we got the front part out, there is another piece that you can kind of see the end of down here. You can see the clamp moving. Now this piece runs underneath the intake manifold. From the factory, it will be bolted down, so you'll have to find out where it's bolted down. It connects to the lower intake manifold. Mine, when I put mine together, I did not hold it down. I didn't bolt it down. It pretty much, it goes from the front to the back, and this is your return line. If the camera would focus, this is your fuel return line. So unclamp that and get that piece out of there. All right, that's the piece that runs under your intake manifold. I bent mine getting it out. That's all right. I also did fail to mention, when you're taking apart stuff, guys that are running a stock filter setup, you will have to unbolt your fuel filter, your FFM. 15 millimeter bolt there, 15 millimeter bolt over there. I'm running the fast system with a spin-on kit, so mine's not there, but you will have to disconnect that in order to get to the return lines. So now that we have all of that out, what we're gonna do is, I have already reached down in the back and taken my caps off. These will be in the final production kit. They'll come with these rubber caps with the metal clamp. Pretty much it was on that last injector back there. It is now going to be, bear with me, it is now going to go on that injector right there, which is the forward-most injector. Now you're going to do this on both sides. So one's going to go there. And the other one's going to go on that injector. And I did say before that the bolt on the valve cover was 11 millimeter. I was mistaken. It's actually a 13 millimeter. So I'm going to put these little caps on my injectors, and we'll get that in. All right, so the kit lays out as follows. You have your distribution block here. You will notice this side is smaller than this side. So, since this is going into the back of the motor, well, not into the back of the motor, but towards the rear of the motor, you're gonna take this 1/4 inch line, and this is gonna go to this smaller barb fitting here, and this is gonna run up to the injection pump. That's going to go over to this fitting right here. Now you could run that over the intake, under the intake, whichever you feel is easier. I like over the intake. I don't like anything under the intake because it gets heat soaked. Then you have this larger line here. This is 5/16. That's going to go back here on a larger barb, and that's going to connect directly to your fuel return line that goes down to the back Now this line here, since we already have this installed on the truck itself, I'm not going to be using this, but if you don't have this yet, you'll be using this. So pretty much these will go on each side, and this will connect to the rearmost injector where you took that rubber cap off of. Now this is a very special, I don't know if you could pick that up, it's braided, and it's made out of a special material that it doesn't need clamps. If you still have factory style rubber return lines, there will be a ton of those little tiny spring clamps on there that annoy everybody. But this does not need clamps. So all you're going to do, I did make a previous video of this. It was part 1 that I called it, pretty much installing these lines onto a motor. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're just going to press fit these right onto the little nipples off of the injectors, and you're going to daisy chain it from one injector to the next. This is not pre-cut, so you can cut it to however short or long you'd like. Try to keep it as short as possible without, having any 90-degree bends. You don't want to kink this, although it is very hard to kink. It doesn't actually want to kink, which is very nice. But you just want enough slack so that way it can go from each injector. So, as I almost trip, because my shop's a mess right now. You'll see, I don't know if you can see, but you'll see in there, we have the, I'm trying to get the light, we have the rubber cap installed on our forwardmost injector on both sides. So we're going to get that, and I'm going to plumb this up, and we'll come back. All right, guys, as far as the install goes, this bottom line here, I swapped my fittings around because I wanted the return out the bottom to go to the truck. The top hose here, which I have routed over here, goes to the front of the injection pump. And the lines, this braided line, goes from this side. You can route it down there. It goes to that back injector. And the same thing from the other side of the distribution block. It's going to go down there to the other injector. So that's pretty much the install on that. There is enough line here where you can zip tie this up nicely somewhere. I'm going to probably zip tie mine right to the lower intake because there's a hole there for it. So that's it. It's very nice, easy install. There's not much to it. To really make this kit work well together, I would also suggest buying the injector return line, the injector install kit, which does come with enough of this hose to connect each of your injectors together. That's also available on Quadstar's website. I'm not going to discuss pricing because pricing does change over a while. But as of right now, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to button this up, and there'll also be another video because we laid out some paint today for the green turtle. So that'll be in the video as well. Until next time, guys, see you later.